Today I am at South Alabama Speedway for the Rattler 250, part one of the Short Track Tour of America. This is one of the biggest super late model events in the country. It is windy as hell, as if you couldn't already tell, and it is absolutely freezing out here. I want to go inside and warm up with some racing. I'll be seeing you on the inside.
Built in 1973 in Kinston, South Alabama Speedway became a main fixture in the vibrant Alabama short track scene almost immediately. Originally opened in June of 1973 as Twin City Speedway by a group of 10 local businessmen in the Aulx enterprise area, the first grand opening race, a 100-lap feature, was held just 2 months after construction was completed. Neil Bonnet held off Red Farmer and Donnie Allison for the win. The 0.4 of a mile track quickly became the playground for the Alabama gang, who racked up dozens of victories here before they moved up to NASCAR Cup Series full-time. But it wasn't just them who came through town. Darrell Waltrip, Pete Hamilton, Rusty Wallace, and many others have won features here. And South Alabama Speedway has become one of the many gatekeeper tracks that dot the country. If you want to drive fast for a living, then this is one of those tracks you're going to have to come to and race at eventually. And with 12-degree banks making the track one of the faster venues in the state and no walls in the corners, doing so is no small feat. And yes, sometimes cars do end up in the woods. Happens to the best of us, I guess. But by far and away, the biggest event for South Alabama is their season opener, the Rattler 250 Super Late Model Race. Ongoing for 47 years and paying $25,000 to win, the Rattler is one asphalt race that gets a lot of attention every March. But be warned, if you win this race, you have to pose with actual live rattlesnakes in victory lane. Yeah, I know they're half knocked out by the cold, but I think I'd come in second on purpose here just to be safe. And some drivers handle the presence of snakes better than others. To find out how a major one-off event like this is organized at a track that normally hosts smaller weekly shows, let's talk to race director Kevin Chance.
All right, I'm here with Kevin Chance. He's a race director out here. So what are all your duties here around the track? I heard you weren't just the race director.
Right, I've got many hats. So we do, I do maintenance, a lot of the maintenance work, cut the grass, prepare for Saturday events, our local events. We run every other weekend, and we basically get up early on Saturday morning and get everything prepared for people to start showing up and for racers to start showing up, and so do many things, repair stuff, paint, clean, anything that needs to be done. Me and my wife basically do a big part of it. So.
Is this your full-time job, or
No, I've got another full-time job, and I work at Aulx, just the town close to the racetrack here. I'm a police officer there, and so this is sort of like a part-time job.
Okay.
Me and my wife cut the grass on the grounds. We've got 20-something acres here, so we do that, and we get off from our regular job at 5 o'clock and come Monday through Friday we start cutting the grass, and usually we finish up on Friday, and then Saturday morning is everything from concession to cleaning to getting blowing the track off, getting everything ready for our local races.
So on Saturday, like, when does your day begin? Like, when does it end?
So Saturday, normally get up around 6:30. We're at the track around 7. According to how long the races go, sometimes those races can be long. Usually we finish racing, we start racing at 7 p.m. We finish racing at usually 10:30 or 11. And normally we'll get out of here around 1 or 2 a.m. the next night.
That's about what it was like over at Greenville Pickens when I worked there.
Pretty long.
Show up at 9, 10 a.m., work until about midnight.
That's right. That's right.
So how is the Rattler weekend any different, other than it just being your season opener, essentially?
Well, season opener, so it's first time for everything. So a lot of times if something's going to fail, it's going to fail on your opening event. So we have to work through that. The Rattler is so much bigger as far as we bring in a lot of folks from out of town. So we have over 100 camping spots, and so we get that where a lot of people are coming in and are attending the event from, as far as from California up to Canada. So we get a lot of people that are coming from all over, and the event is more of a 4-day event, where our local show is a 1-day event. You know, we used to run late models a few years back, and it got to be where a lot of especially the pro late model teams were running bigger events, so they were attending bigger events instead of your just your Saturday shows and stuff like that. And so it's just several days and just a bigger event for us.
Yeah, and I went by the campgrounds. There's a lot of people there and a lot of license plates pretty far away.
Yeah, from all over, and we got over 100 camping spots, and so we start usually in January. My wife's uncle, who also is part of the family, and as far as helping us do stuff at the racetrack, and so he starts usually in January. We start getting in entries for the camping area, and in no time we usually have those filled up. But we get them from, you know, like you said, California, Michigan, Maine, Pennsylvania, Florida. We get a lot from, you know, from South Florida, and you know, just talking about people coming from all over. We were working at the track a couple weeks ago, and we had some people from Canada that pulled up and said that they were attending the event at Montgomery, which was about 3 weeks ago. They had a pro race, and then they were going to the race in Pensacola that weekend, that they come by and seen us, and then we're coming to our track. And so we, you know, they took vacation time to do that. And so that just shows you what kind of passion and love that our fans have for racing.
Yeah, I mean, that's
for short track racing.
Yeah, I thought what I was doing was pretty extreme, going all across South Carolina and dipping out a few times, you know, but 3 weeks in a row coming from Canada all the way down here, that's something.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, we're blessed. You know, this event has gotten to be bigger and bigger, and so we've been very, very blessed as far as the coverage that this race brings, and you know, we're try to do everything we can to accommodate everyone, and you know, just so that when they show up here, they have a joyful time and get to watch some good racing.
Well, it's nice talking to you, Kevin.
It's good talking to you.
Good luck out there.
All right, I appreciate it.
Hopefully everything goes off without a hitch.
Yes, sir. Thank you for what you do for short track racing and going across the U.S. and covering it. So.
The super late models are the main event here at the Rattler, and they are some of the fastest four-wheeled vehicles you can find on a paved short track. They race from East Coast to West Coast and everywhere in between. If you're a short track regular, then you've inevitably seen these speed demons at some point. And the Rattler 250 has a preliminary race the night before, the Baby Rattler, a 100-lap feature for the pro late models. To find out more about how these two types of late models are built and set up, let's talk to legendary late model racer and car builder, Augie Grill.
All right, I'm here with Augie Grill. We're here at the Rattler 250. You've been described to me as the wizard of car building. We got a couple different types of late models out here. Can you explain for people watching what is the difference between the pro late models and the super late models?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same car. The construction of the car is the same. Really the main difference is the motor. Pro late model's got either a Ford crate motor or a Chevrolet crate motor. They make roughly 420 to 450, 460. And then the super cars are normally between 590 and 610 horsepower. So, you know, about 150 horsepower different. But on the racetrack, it really only matters. It makes about 3 or 4 tenths different. So that's the difference, really. I mean, same sheet metal, same bodies, same fuel that burns in them, same oil. Just the super late model motor is a dry sump, so we run an oil tank and oil lines and all. But the crate motors are all wet sump, so you know all the oil is just in the pan. So that's really the main difference. We ran the same shock, same springs, all that kind of stuff.
So you could just literally just swap out the motors and you get the same product.
Yep, I did that actually back in my early years of driving. We did that a lot. I'd have one car and swap motors back and forth between races, and got to be a lot. So we wound up building 2 cars for myself.
Yeah, take the easy way over, as easy as it can be, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm from South Carolina. That's late model stock country. What kind of would be the difference between the pros and supers versus late model stock?
Chassis are a fair amount different. They are pretty much how the Cup cars were years ago. You know, perimeter chassis. Front clip is designed a little different, more catered to stock front clip from years ago. But just bigger, taller car, narrower than what we got here. You know, there again, fans watching from the stands, they can't tell the difference. I mean, it's still a race car. They still look a lot the same, but a fair amount of difference.
Okay. I came here, I was trying to look at the difference between a Pro and a Super. I couldn't tell the difference from the outside. And
no, you can't.
Until you lift up the motor and you see that, you know, one of them's got the big motor, one of them's got a much smaller one.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like I went up to Oswego a couple years back, and the Super Modifieds look exactly the same until they turn at you and you see that big old motor, and then you know what you got dealing with.
Yeah, for sure.
So how long you been coming out here to South Alabama for the Rattler?
Oh, shoot. I came out here in the 80s when my dad owned cars with different drivers back in the 80s. So what's that? I'm 46. I've probably been coming here for darn near 40 years. So it's a long time. Been driving for right at 20 years now. So I've been coming here at least 20 driving myself. So been out here a bunch of times over the years. Just a neat place. I love the family that runs the place, John and Sandra Dykes. They do a great job, and just like being here.
What are some of the unique challenges of this track that you don't really get anywhere else?
Just really no more than we can run it. You know, this is really the only late model race of the year here. Has been that way for about 10 years, I guess. So, you know, you come here and you remember stuff from the last time you were here, but sometimes it doesn't equate. Tires might be a little different, you know, weather might be a little different. So, I guess really no different than any other track, but really we're kind of limited on practice. I know there seems like we practice a bunch, but a couple of days of practice, but especially with the weather changing from day to day, it's a different track today than it was on Thursday. So it's
went from kind of nice and muggy to nice and cold and windy
I
today.
prefer the cold to be racing, honestly. But yeah, that's nothing really that stands out. It's like whoa, you know, but. But it's a neat little track. It's definitely got its own characteristics.
Yeah, I've been going up and down the South Carolina, North Carolina short track scene, and one thing that stuck out to me is there's no walls here in the turns. Is that a concern for y'all or anything like that?
No, and honestly, there used to not be a wall down the back straightaway until they added that outside pit, and you could run off the back, and it was just flat out there. I've never really seen any bad accidents over the side of the track, though. I mean, you normally get out there and the grass kind of slows you down. You get stopped and get back on the track. And the track's pretty wide, so normally if there's a spin, they really don't even get to the edge of the track. So never seen anything crazy here, so hopefully that stays the same.
I noticed there's a good bit of banking to catch you if anything does go sideways.
Yep, and it's, you know, you run slow enough through the corners that if something does happen, again, there's plenty of runoff before the grass.
All right, well, nice talking to you.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
it. Good luck out there, and have fun.
Thanks, sir.
Late models are not the only thing on the itinerary, though. There's also super stocks, Roadrunner street stocks, and an odd brand of modified known as the Gulf Coast Modified. As the name implies, these modifieds can be found in Florida and Texas, and are quite a bit different from their NASCAR Tour-type modified counterparts. To find out how much they differ, let's talk to a guy who's worked on both, Shane Turner.
I'm over here with Shane Turner. You worked with Tour-type modifieds, and worked with some guys that work with these Gulf Coast modifieds. What are some of the major differences between the two of them?
The major difference is basic tires. It's the 8-inch tires compared to a 13-inch tire, and the chassis are tubular chassis, a lot more motor. These cars do have a lot of motor too for an 8-inch tire.
Yeah. I saw them
That's
coming
why
down through here. They were absolutely slinging it through 3 and 4.
They put big tires on these. They can just run as fast. They're just not. They're just lighter. Tour mods, just motors, chassis. Basically, a lot of technology in those cars.
Yeah.
There's a lot more technology than these cars, the Gulf Coast modifieds. And like I said, it's a lot of money. There's a lot of money in those cars. There's a lot, and I'm not saying these cars are cheap. These cars, $30,000 to $40,000, race ready. Those things are about $100,000 race ready. You hurt one of them cars, you're going to the chassis shop. It's like almost like a NASCAR Infinity car or a truck. Not like the new Cup cars, because those are just their own beast. Their own animal. Basically, that's about it. The chassis, tires.
Big old motor.
Just big motor, and everything on those tour models are just bigger, heavier. Yeah. Like everything, the rotors, everything on the front is heavy. Built to last, and built to bump around. These are, I'm not saying these are cheap, but like I said, these things have got more aluminum.
Yeah, I know all these Gulf type modifieds, Gulf Coast modifieds, they all look a little bit different. Is there like any body template you have to adhere to or anything like that?
There's no body template really. I think the spoiler. I mean, like I say, you can look at like the sail panels. They call them the sail panels on the side. Like, he has the roof goes over his, and some of these don't have them. You know, that's why they call it modifieds. You can pretty much build a body whatever you want.
That's the way the modified started. It was basically anything goes, no template you had to adhere to, just do whatever you want.
Yeah, just
make
like
it go fast.
There's a lot of creative bodies if you look around. Like this car here is a BMF car. It's made in Texas. They got BMF. They got different chassis. There's like 4 or 5 chassis manufacturers in these cars. The Gulf Coast modifieds. BMF is probably the fastest one. You got Derek Griffin that builds his own cars. They're really nice and fast too. You know, but like I said, it's whatever you want. The bodywork, you know, like this car here next to us is 18 years old. You know, this car is about 4 years old. You know, it just don't tear them up.
Yeah.
I mean,
just take care of them. It'll take care of you, right?
Yeah, the race. It's called racing, not called crashing.
Yeah.
You know. But a lot of people in these other classes around here don't believe that, but they got plenty of money.
Yeah. Well, man, it was good talking to you.
Nice to meet you.
And nice to learn about these types of modifieds I've personally never seen before, but I love how they all look unique. You can pick them. You can take the number, take the paint off. You'd still be able to tell who's who.
Yeah.
You know, that's really cool. And these skinny tires. I think the tires on my Hyundai Elantra are wider than that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've seen a class that went on 7-inch tires. They call them trailer tires. You know, but
man.
Like I said, these cars are fun and they're fast. You know what I mean? They put a good show on. Like the tour mods, they put a real good show. When they get a whole bunch of them, because you got more of them up north. They're mostly up north. There's some they race some tours in North Carolina, and they run around speed weeks in New Smyrna. But like I said, they stay on the East Coast mostly. These cars actually run. These Gulf Coast cars, modifieds, they run them in California and Arizona, stuff like that. They're pretty much everywhere. That's about it, you know. I don't really. That's it.
No frills, a lot of motor.
A lot of motor. Some of these cars, some of these Gulf Coast modifieds have 650 horsepower, and some only have about 400. You know, you got to understand, you're running on an 8-inch tire. You have all that horsepower. But if you can't put it to the floor on that pedal, you're going to spin the tires coming off, and you're just going to burn your tires up. So those cars that don't have any horsepower will come back and get you. You know, it's all about tires. This class, you just can't burn your tires up the first 20 laps. You know, that's the main thing. You got to have something at the end. They pay to win, they don't pay for the 15th lap. They pay for the 50th lap.
Right. Well, it's good talking to you, man.
Okay.
Best of luck out there.
Okay.
Learned a lot.
Yes, sir.
Y'all have fun.
So. Have a good time. Thank you, sir.
Race day came around on a sunny but windy cold day, and Ty Majeski, who had just got done racing in Atlanta in the Truck Series, put his super late model on pole. But Central Florida Roofing made him an offer he couldn't refuse. If Ty agreed to start in the back of the field and still won, the company would give him an extra $10,000 for a total payday of $35,000. The green flew and Majeski worked his way to the front before the halfway point. It looked like he had it in the bag, but after a pre-scheduled round of pit stops, Bubba Pollard, who had won the Baby Rattler the night before and qualified mid-pack for the main event, had been working on his car all day and biding his time. With about 10 to go, he put in the pass for the lead and won the race to pull off the sweep. 250 laps done and tied up neatly in about 2 hours. If you want to visit South Alabama Speedway, the nearest hotels can be found in Op or Enterprise. But be aware there is no interstate going near the track, so you're going to have to do some driving across county and state roads. That being said, there aren't a whole lot of stores near the track either, so do your pre-race shopping for food and drinks before heading into town. All that being said, despite being off the beaten path, South Alabama Speedway is a great little track with plenty of fast racing and tons of character. So if you ever get the opportunity to head out for a weekly feature or the Rattler, it'll sure to be well worth the price of admission. Anyway, I'm Slapshoes, thanks for watching, and until next time, take it easy.